This is Josh from Job and Josh's History Hubs and Reviews, and today I'm going to review in a series, which is going to be multiple videos, not just this one, on why and how people cheat. And this series of reviews is going to go through the psychological process between men and women and the reasons why they cheat, and even why committed people that have never cheated a day in their life, end up cheating for one reason or another. And it may seem a little wacky, it may seem like I bounce from topic to topic, from video to video, from minute to minute, and this is because I'm doing all of this from personal experience and memories and things I've read and just observations. I'm a very observational person, may not seem like, but in real life I am always observing. And I'm going to base it on past relationships and my current one too. And I apologize because I'm going to be reading from my phone for part of this video because I have it all typed out and it's really, really long, and I'm going to break it down into pieces. So my girlfriend and I were talking, and we were talking about this morning. And we were talking about, to each other, what would happen if, because her and I, we don't really basically relate on a lot. She's into show choir and dancing and singing and music, and I'm not into any of that, and she has lots of friends and I have no friends. And basically it made me really think, well, we don't relate a lot, and people who don't relate a lot generally tend to not end well, or they generally tend to not work out. But there are some marriages, there are some relationships where two people don't relate at all, and they end up getting married and, living happy lives and whatever happens after that. But more often than not, people that don't relate that much don't last, or they get cheated on. You can Google it too. After a while, the differences start to pile up. And I'm like, so yeah, what if, you found a guy who was straight, maybe you knew him in school, from work, or maybe you didn't know him at all. And it turns out, he was into show choir like you, and he related a lot more to you. He was friends with your friends. He knew people that you knew, because I don't know any of her friends. I've met them, but I didn't know any of them except for one prior to us dating. And she said, yeah, well, even if the guy's straight, even if he's in show choir and has the same friends as I wouldn't break up with you for him, because you and I, Josh, have an emotional connection that nobody else has, that I have no connection with to anyone else. And from my experience, I've heard that before. Not from her, but from other people I've dated, from other people I've talked to and thought about dating, but ended up not dating them. And basically, I got cheated on, I got left, I got lied to. So it makes it really hard to believe anyone else. And this happened multiple times, by the way. It happened multiple times. It wasn't just with one girl, it was with 3. And so I really went behind the psychology on this and said, but bonds are broken all the time due to infidelity or cheating. And that's true. And then I went on to say, if you spend enough time with someone else, and the bond you already have with another person that you've been with for a while, like her and I, it grows weaker, while a new bond is made for the person you're now talking to. And you may not even realize it. You may not even realize that there's a connection growing between you and another girl or another guy. This is for girls and guys, by the way. And it's all psychological. She told me a week ago, and I'm paraphrasing this right now, why would I want to go through the trouble of learning about someone else and getting them to like me when I already have you? And here's what happens though, psychologically speaking, you learn about the other person without even knowing that you're learning. You may not think you're paying attention. You may be like, yeah, yeah, and you may not think, oh, I'm not going to remember any of this, but it turns out you do. And then finally, you realize, oh my God, I think I like this person. Because it turns out you remembered everything they said. You remember their favorite movie, their favorite food, their favorite place to go, their favorite people, their friends, their family, their names, the places, what they want to do when they get into their career, if they're not already there. And you just think that, oh my God, I think I like this person. Without even, like, it just suddenly hits you. Like, you may be like, yeah, oh, well, that's great, yeah, that's cool, yeah. And then finally, it hits you one day. They say something, you see them at work, you see them somewhere out in public, and you don't have to actually talk to them, but you just go, oh my God, I think I like them. And then you start thinking about them when you aren't together. If it's at work, or you met them at some group meetup, or you met them through another friend. And then you start thinking about them when you can't text or chat on a messenger of some sort, or talk on the phone. And you're just like, gee, I really want to talk to them. I really want to talk to them, but I can't because I'm busy, or they're busy, or whatever. And pretty soon, the partner you have becomes, oh, well, I had a few good weeks with them. I had a few good months with them. I had a good year or two with them. But now you want nothing to do with them. You want to be with a new person. Because it's new. It's something to learn about. Or maybe you like them, or you like qualities about them, or a mix of anything. And then when things stop working after a few weeks, after a few months, after a year with a new person, you start looking for people to help you, but no one else is available except for the person you used to be with. They're the only person that you know was tore up and cared. They're the only person that you know will talk to you no matter what. And then you'll go to them and you'll say, oh, please, I need someone to talk to. Oh, well, you were always a good talker. And then you start talking about the good things about them that you said didn't exist originally. And you'll be like, oh, you're such a good listener. Oh, I wish they would listen to me like this. Oh, I don't know what happened. Things were great. I made a mistake. And then by then, the other person either still wants you back and they're an idiot like I was a long time ago, or they don't want you back, which is how I was also a long time ago. And they want nothing to do with you after that. They're like, you know what? I helped you, but you ruined my life. Thank you. Goodbye. And here's what happened. That happened to me. They wanted me back after a few months because the person that they left me for didn't make them happy anymore. They weren't who they said they were. But me, I was exactly who I said I was. And this person said the right things to them and got what he wanted. Meanwhile, I said the right things when we were together, but actually stuck to it and said, hey, you know what? I don't want to do this, and I'm not going to. I don't care if you want to or not. And anyway, so they tried to come back to me, and they're like, will you take me back? Will you take me back? And at first I was like, oh, really? Finally, I'm getting what I waited for. And then I thought about it. Wait, if you've lied to me once and you've cheated on me multiple times, or once, or whatever that your situation may be, then you're probably going to do it again. There's no stopping it. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Sorry, sad to say. I know that there are statistics online that say, well, people can come back from an infidelity, from a cheating, and they can come back better than before. And if it turns out that you can trust them after that, well, then good for you, but I wouldn't from experience, because I've forgiven 3 cheaters. No, hang on, I've forgiven 2 cheaters. 2, sorry. And it never works out after that. No, not in today's world. Maybe a rare majority. But you're either going to forgive them and not worry about it, or you're going to always be wondering, what are they going to do? When are they going to do it again? And I would just recommend not going back to a cheater. And then, of course, if they're really desperate, or if you're really desperate, you're going to start thinking, they're going to start saying to you, well, don't you remember the good times? Don't you remember the good times? Blah, blah, blah. Do you miss this? Don't you want this to happen again? They're going to try and do this, and your mind's going to try and convince you of it too. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it just because you're desperate. Don't think, what if? Don't think, well, what if we end up lasting? Because that's what you're going to think too. And that's what they're going to say too. Don't fall for it. Take my advice. Don't believe it. Don't fall for it. It's all a mind control trick that men and women use on each other to get what they want. And then trust me, as soon as another person walks in that was like the person they left you for, it's going to happen again. And don't go through it. Don't put yourself through that. You're worth more than that. And so, in retrospect on this episode, on this review, always be on alert. I read something that said that 50% of men and women have a backup lover or someone. 50%. Now, there's another 50% out there that doesn't have one, that's completely committed. But the thing is, you'll never know unless you try and look. Anyway, that's all we have time for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts below and subscribe and like if you want to. I can't make you because it's against YouTube's terms and services to force people to subscribe. This has been Josh from Job and Josh's History of and Reviews, and I'm signing out. Thank you very much.